The time's come to play here in my garden of shadows.
Hello, I'm Runya, aka Media Adaptation, and welcome back to Moderation, where all media is fair game. And it's Friday, so that means it's time once again to look at the supposedly lost 80s anime Go for a Punch, aka Saki Sanobashi. We missed the last few weeks due to personal matters. We've talked about it enough already. So anyway, let's get right to it. As for mystery images, we did get this one that popped up, but it dates back to one from 2010, and it seems to be a fan art of Shion from Higurashi When They Cry. Another one we got was this one, but it seems to come from a manga called Jimi no Spear. I don't know much about this one, so we might have to cover it at a later date. We then have two lesser images, as the first one's clearly just Asuna from Evangelion, and the second one comes from a 1983 anime called Cat's Eye, which I don't think has anything to do with horror. And as for other Discord activities, they have been plowing through a bunch of foreign anime Goro compilations, but nothing has panned out as of yet. On the Reddit side of things, there was a decent debate about the possibilities of Saki being made before the 1980s. I know it's not much, but given it was from Reddit, I'll give them props on an interesting conversation. So shout out to Short Weekly and Dark Amy. And with that out of the way, it's time for our anime for this week. Root Search from 1986. And it's, well, ever been in a no-win scenario? It's kind of like a mix between Aliens and The Thing. A research station dealing with ESP almost gets hit by a warship coming out of warp. They go in to investigate and find the crew slaughtered, with only one survivor. They also find an unknown life form, and in one of the few competent acts in films like this, the captain immediately orders it to be shot out the airlock, as it's clearly responsible for what happened to the other ship. The problem being is that this thing is psychic, and it can still affect people no matter where it is. It plays upon the fears of the mind, digging through your past and bringing back thoughts you feel guilty or remorse. A boss who lost it all, a lover who took her own life in the bathroom, a comrade who died right next to you. It's quite literally impossible to fight against this thing. The group then finds themselves attacked by another alien ship that just shows up out of nowhere. Again, the thing specializes at illusions, so I don't think it's actually there. So they then set the core to blow, and can't make it out in time, and then find themselves somewhere unknown to them. Which means either this is the afterlife, or it knocked you out way before the alien ship showed up, and this is where it puts you. This anime gives no real explanations, and no real ending, so it is what it is. The other one that we're going to look at would be Bride of Deimos from 1988. The god of hell, or at least a high-level demon, finds himself with his life withering away, so he's tasked to go to the human world to find a vessel worthy of his queen, and then he finds her, who's going to be our main protagonist of the series. But he wants her to come willingly, which she understandably rejects, which then becomes the B-plot of the show, as Deimos, being a demon, has all the time in the world. So it becomes kind of like Hellsing or Inuyasha, with the demon following around a cute girl. But from his point of view, it's kind of a mercy, because if she leaves now, then she won't have to face the cruelties of reality, which serves as the plot of each of the chapters. This manga only covers one of them, the case of the Blue Orchid, where prize-winning flowers catch the eye of one of her friends. But it turns out the price of beauty is the sacrifice of a life. She lucks out and doesn't die from it, and Deimos shows back up at the end, vowing that one day they will be together. And now it's time to continue our look through our adult animations of the time, which brings us up to 1985. And the first one is Mitsu no Aji. Oh dear god. AKA Bushido Comics Lolicon Angel. And let's just fast track to this one. Rape, rape, and more rape. Wonderful. Quickly moving on to the next one, and it's called There Is No Way in Hell I'll Be Able to Pronounce That. I'm already pretty terrible at pronouncing Japanese names. Ada, can you cover that?
超能力少女バラバンバ
Yeah, whatever she said. It involves a group of aliens who are running away from another group and decide to cross dimensions. But because they used an improbability drive, they're changed into new forms when they come to Earth. And one of them, of course, is a naked woman. The ship crashes, and a biker gang finds her, and wants to rape her. And one of the underlings points out that that is an alien ship. But the boss quickly dismisses it as that's clearly a naked woman in front of them. They try to attack her, but our protagonist shows up and kicks their butts. The two embrace and share a nice little moment, as the gang gets back up and cheap shots him while they weren't looking, and then proceeds to violate her. But due to different biologies, when she comes, she kind of nukes them all. Well, that's a new one for this channel. Death by orgasm. Which could be a problem, as they do hook up later and almost blows his dick off. But other aliens find them, and she just nukes them again. And then it just ends. So, the moral of today's story is if you ever find yourself in danger, then just go to a dimension where you gain superpowers out your hoo-ha. And our last one of these for the day, oh neat, Dream Hunter Rim. I think we covered this one back in episode 3 or 4. Quick summary. Think Japanese anime Freddy Krueger, and a schoolgirl goes into people's dreams to help fight against them, and then turns into She-Ra, but then dies a lot. And some of these deaths are insanely graphic. Technically, only the first of the OVAs was a hentai, and they changed it to a normal anime because they had more fun with the story. I did only ever see the first episode of this, so I can't wait till we find number 2 or 3 later. I think they also did a reboot of the series later on, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And to finish up this week, let's cover some horror mangas. I know the chances of finding anything useful here is very slim, but it's become a favorite for our viewers. And manga from this time period is strangely better documented than anime is. So who knows what we'll find? And the Discord group has tasked me to go through all 1,500 of them, so why not? The first one we have is Terror, by Jin Young, posted in 2000. Every night it's the same thing. When the hour draws late and the clock strikes 12, you can hear her walking slowly down the halls, water dripping from her with each step. You hide under your blankets, trying to fall asleep, but you know she's right outside your door. You steal a glance, only to see her staring back at you, and then throws a frying pan at your face, and your mom tells you to stop goofing off and get back to studying for your exams. I guess everyone has their own demons to deal with. And the next one is called Ninyo Saishiji Kujo, or a much simpler name, The Doll Rebirth Shop. Another one of the stories in the same vein as Pet Shop of Horrors. A wish, but at a price. An average girl wants her senpai to love her, but the only thing she's really good at is singing, and not much else. So when she hears of the shop, and a deal is made, he can give her a new face, but in exchange for her singing voice. She agrees, wanting a better life for herself, and is warned that if she ever sang, her body would shatter. Her life starts to turn around, and she even gets Senpai to go out with her, who explains that he always liked her, namely her beautiful voice. A friend of his gets jealous and tries to attack her, but she fights her off and she falls out a window. She's taken to the hospital, and also meets the doll maker, but shortly after, she dies. And Senpai is torn at the loss of his friend, and asks her to help him think of something else by singing. She declines, but she keeps getting pressured, especially on the day of her big solo. And she takes the stage, and as she does, her head splits open, revealing the friend underneath, which seems to be part of her deal that was made with the doll maker, who we look back on, and he's made the voice into a nightingale, next to a doll who looks like our girl. How many times has he helped other people? We may never know, as a new customer enters the shop. And our last one today is called It's a Cat, by Barriquios, from 2000. which feels a lot like the setup of one that we covered before, called Kiro. A girl finds a cat, but it's clearly not normal, as multiple eyes appear along its body, and a mouth comes out the side of it. Her mother doesn't let her keep it, as God knows what it really is. So that night, in order to save her cat, she kills her mom, and the cat eats her body. A while later, one of her friends from school checks up on her, and also freaks out at the sight of it, calling it a monster. So she holds her down, and the cat jabs her with a needle that came out its tail, which makes her compliant, saying only nice things about her cat, and going on like nothing has happened. She could have fed her to her cat, but he's been getting bigger, so they go out in search of larger prey. And that about does it for this video. If you have any other ideas like Saki made into a video, then please post it down in the comments below, and we'll add it to our next viewer request week.
It's now time for the part of the show where we ask you to help us appease the YouTube algorithm by dropping a like, share, or comment. It helps out much more than you'd think.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, then it's very much appreciated. And if you'd like to support this channel, then please visit our Patreon. Link will be down in the description below. Even if you can't give a lot, every little bit helps. Oh, we also started up a Let's Play channel. So if you want to see us try out some horror games, then feel free to stop on by. Link will be in the card as well as in the description. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Anyway, I'm Runya.
And I'm Ada.
Reminding you to take life in moderation.
Weep not, poor children, for life is this way, murdering beauty and passion.